Center here on the campus of Muskingum University for today's OAC men's basketball matchup between the Muskingum University Fighting Muskies and the visiting Ohio Northern Polar Bears, presented by Orbit Media Sports. I'm Chris Morgan, joined by Michael Pagano up here in the booth, as well as Logan Weaver down on the sideline. He'll be our sideline reporter for today's contest. And Michael, when you look at this game today, the Muskies are really going to have to go a lot through Jarrell Marsh and Marcus Dempsey offensively, but head coach Travis Schwab, he's got some tricks up his sleeve to try to keep this Muskie team really on balance and keep the Polar Bears on their toes defensively.
Yeah, I agree with you on that because, like you said, it goes through Marsh and Dempsey, and it really does go through Marsh and Dempsey. And there's some times when Marsh and Dempsey aren't on as much as they usually are, and when that happens, they got to go to a guy like Ricky Wilson, who I love. I mean, Ricky Wilson is a great player for the Muskies. I mean, he makes threes, he makes plays, and even if you need another guy, you got Jalen Page or you got Josh Keys, and it's just amazing how many pieces they have that they can go to if Marsh and Dempsey aren't on for that day, and that's what Coach Schwab's going to have to do, but hopefully Marsh and Dempsey are on today.
And Josh Keys has really been a big-time piece for this Muskie team. He was the second leading scorer for the Muskies last season, as well as the leading rebounder. He also leads the OAC this season in blocks, but this year with the emergence of Dempsey as the number 2 guy to Marsh, Keys has really done a fantastic job of taking a step back and realizing what role he's going to have with this team. His rebounding numbers are still fantastic. His blocks, as I mentioned, are still really good, but he hasn't done a lot of scoring, and that's exactly what the Muskies need from him. Play good defense and get the boards to get the offense going back the other direction.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Coach Schwab's perfectly fine with him not scoring as much as he usually does, and I'm sure he went to Keys at some point during the season and just said, hey, we need you to play defense, so don't worry about scoring. Just get rebounds, block the ball, do everything you can to get the ball back into our guys' hands and let them do the work, and if you end up scoring a couple points, so be it. But if not, if you don't score any points in a game, don't worry about it. Just keep getting your rebounds because he's second in the OAC in rebounds this year.
And, of course, on the other side for the Polar Bears, led by head coach Rick Bensman, it's going to be a lot of three-man production with the big guy coming off the bench for the majority of the year. Nate Berger has only started those 4 games of this 14-game season that they've had so far, but he's also the team's leading scorer at just about 15 points a game. Yeah,
I mean, it's very, like I said, it's very interesting that Berger isn't starting all the games, but like I said, I think Bensman is just thinking, hey, we got a good starting 5. Let's just put Berger in the game and have him be a good catalyst off the bench because you always can use a bench guy. It's kind of like James Harden when he was on the Thunder. He didn't start very much, but he was the 6th man of the year, and I'm sure if they had a 6th man of the year for the OAC, it would definitely be Nate Berger.
And he kind of reminds me a lot of J.R. Smith with his first season with the Cavs. Wasn't starting a lot, came off the bench until they got later in the year when they needed that three-point scoring. And that's kind of the same thing that we're seeing with Berger for the Polar Bears. He's that guy that can have big-time production from the bench, but can come in and get the job done as a starter whenever Coach Bensman needs him to. So that's really going to play into the chess match between these two head coaches as they continue to kind of breed their teams into what they want them to be. Both teams come in with a very good conference record. The Muskies are 4-3 in the OAC. The Polar Bears are 5-2. The overall record is where things look different. Only a 500 record for the Polar Bears at 7-7, with the Muskies owning a 10-4 record coming into today's game. But with that, we're going to go ahead and send it back to the studio for a short break, and we will be right back to hear from Coach Schwab as the Muskies get set to take on the Ohio Northern Polar Bears here on the Orbit Media Sports Network.
Sweet chocolate-covered marshmallows. Smooth, delicious pretzels. Divine chocolate treats of all kinds, all handcrafted and available right here in historic Cambridge. Unleash your inner chocoholic with nothing but chocolate. Located on 731 Wheeling Avenue in Cambridge, Ohio.
authority in East Central Ohio is ESPN Cambridge, FM 107.9, AM 1270 on your radio dial. Featuring great programming like Mike and Mike, Dan Lebitard, Ohio State basketball, Reds baseball, Blue Jackets hockey, select NFL games, and college football and basketball. ESPN Cambridge is also your local sports authority too, featuring local high school sports all year round with some viewable on Cable TV 2 in Cambridge or streaming online at yourradioplace.com/YRPTV. Your home for sports is ESPN Cambridge, FM 107.9, AM 1270.
Basketball matchup between the Muskingum University Fighting Muskies and the visiting Ohio Northern Polar Bears, here presented by Orbit Media Sports. Once again, I'm Chris Morgan, joined by Michael Pagano up here in the booth, as well as our sideline reporter Logan Weaver, who will be live in just a few seconds with head coach Travis Schwab for the Fighting Muskies. And before we do get to Coach Schwab, Michael, this Muskie team really has to come out prepared for today's game, and this is exactly what Coach Schwab is going to have to do for this team, as we are now ready to go live to our sideline reporter, Logan Weaver, who is live with Coach Schwab down by the bench.
Guys, I'm here with Coach Schwab. Coach, what are the keys to victory today as you get ready to face Ohio Northern?
It's going to come down to a couple things: transition defense, all right, rebounding the ball, and being really aggressive and solid defensively today.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thank you, Logan. That was Logan Weaver, our sideline reporter for today's contest, live with head coach Travis Schwab of the Fighting Muskies, as the Fighting Muskies get set to take on Ohio Northern in today's OAC men's basketball action. Let's go ahead and send it back to the studio for another short break before we come back just before the tip-off of today's game, here presented by Orbit Media Sports.
Look at all these televisions. Is this heaven? Have we all died and gone to the sports afterlife? No, but this place is no less holy. A miracle of flat screens and premium sports packages, all in the service of a sports fan's basest desires. So while this isn't the heaven, it is a heaven. And this one serves beer, which is a nice twist.
Buffalo Wild Wings, located in Zanesville and Cambridge.
Visit us at the Crumb and Cup behind the John and Annie Glenn Museum to warm up with a cup of soup and a hot drink, or grab a sandwich and some dessert. Stop in the Crumb and Cup Alley Cafe, where we take pride in making your day.
The Forum, we're that kind of restaurant.
Want to celebrate after your team's unbelievable victory? We're that kind of restaurant. Hungry after a late night of studying? How about a late night drive-thru? We're that kind of restaurant. Need a place to wind down after a long day? How about a full-service bar? We're that kind of restaurant. With great prices, great food, and a great environment, we're that kind of restaurant.
The Forum Restaurant, because life was meant to be enjoyed.
PNC Steel Center here on the campus of Muskingum University for today's OAC men's basketball matchup between the Fighting Muskies and the visiting Ohio Northern Polar Bears, presented by Orbit Media Sports. I'm Chris Morgan, joined by Michael Pagano, as well as our sideline reporter Logan Weaver for today's contest, as we are just about a minute away from the opening tip of today's contest. But before we get to that point, Michael, what do the Muskies have to be able to do to get a win today?
They've got to put the offense through Jarrell Marsh and Marcus Dempsey. They've got to get them going. When they win their games and when they play their best, they have Jarrell Marsh and Marcus Dempsey playing their best. So that's what they got to do today.
That's exactly what they have to do. Go through the big three, get the offense going through Jarrell Marsh. But on the other side, play good defense as well, as they gave up those 94 points to Heidelberg. Coach Schwab said after that game he absolutely was not happy with the defensive effort. Of course, they got that win, but They wanted to be able to shut down Heidelberg in that game and not give up the 94 points. So the team defense is really going to be a big thing for this Muskie team today. If they can play the good team defense, then they're going to be able to do whatever they have to do to get a W here today as they take on Ohio Northern in today's OAC men's basketball contest. With that, let's go ahead and take one more final break before we come back for the opening tip-off here on today's broadcast, brought to you by Orbit Media Sports.
Sweet chocolate-covered marshmallows. Smooth, delicious pretzels. Divine chocolate treats of all kinds, all handcrafted and available right here in historic Cambridge. Unleash your inner chocoholic with nothing but chocolate. Located on 731 Wheeling Avenue in Cambridge, Ohio.
Authority in East Central Ohio is ESPN Cambridge, FM 107.9, AM 1270 on your radio dial. Featuring great programming like Mike and Mike, Dan Lebitard, Ohio State basketball, Reds baseball, Blue Jackets hockey, select NFL games, and college football and basketball. ESPN Cambridge is also your local sports authority too. Featuring local high school sports all year round with some viewable on Cable TV 2 in Cambridge or streaming online at yourradioplace.com/YRPTV. Your home for sports is ESPN Cambridge, FM 107.9, AM 1270.
Look at all these televisions. Is this heaven? Have we all died and gone to the sports afterlife? No, but this place is no less holy. A miracle of flat screens and premium sports packages, all in the service of a sports fan's basest desires. So while this isn't the heaven, it is a heaven. And this one serves beer, which is a nice twist.
Buffalo Wild Wings, located in Zanesville and Cambridge.
Visit us at the Crumb and Cup behind the John and Annie Glenn Museum to warm up with a cup of soup and a hot drink, or grab a sandwich and some dessert. Stop in the Crumb and Cup Alley Cafe, where we take pride in making your day.
Welcome back to the ANSI Steel Center here on the campus of Muskingum University for today's OAC men's basketball matchup between the Muskingum University Fighting Muskies and the visiting Ohio Northern Polar Bears. Once again, I'm Chris Morgan, joined up in the broadcast booth by Michael Pagano, as well as on the sideline with Logan Weaver, our sideline reporter for today's contest. And as the Muskies get set to take on Ohio Northern, Michael, this is really going to be one big-time matchup between two OAC powers in this basketball season.
Yeah, and it's really nice to be able to call Muskingum an OAC power this year because they've been playing like everybody thought they should be playing this year, and it's really cool to see them be able to play so well. And obviously today you have your regular starting five. You got Jalen Page at your point guard. You got Jarrell Marsh at shooting guard. You got Marcus Dempsey at small forward. Then you got Ricky Wilson at power forward. And then your big man in center in Joshua Keys. So I'm really excited for this matchup, and I think it could be a really good game.
I really am excited for this Muskie team, and I really think that this starting five is going to have a unique challenge on their hands as they're going to be going up against a pretty good starting five for Ohio Northern on the other side. So this Muskie team really has to be ready for today's game, and they have to be prepared to play exactly the kind of basketball that they want to play. Set the tempo out there on the other side and make sure that Ohio Northern's not going to be able to do the same thing to you. You're going to have to dictate the pace of this game, so that's what the Muskies need to do to be able to stop this Ohio Northern team. The starting five for Ohio Northern will be Joey Hurlis, Connor Baker, Joey DeOrio, Ryan Bruns, and Nate Berger moving into the starting lineup. So we will not see Devin Allen as a starter here today for the Polar Bears. So that's going to be the interesting dynamic for this Muskie team. Devin Allen, the second leading scorer for this Polar Bear team, and having Berger in the starting lineup is going to present some differences the way the Muskies want to attack the Ohio Northern.
Yeah, it's interesting that Berger is starting after we were just talking about how we didn't think he was going to start, but it's nice that a coach like Bensman has an opportunity to do something like that.
The opening tip is away, and it will go to Ricky Wilson, who goes back to Jalen Page, bringing the ball up the floor for the first possession. He goes to Marsh in the left wing. Marsh is going to go isolation, now kicking it back out to Wilson left wing. Going down low to the low left block to Keys. Keys with a little turnaround jumper off the rim, no good. Rebound goes to Connor Baker. Now going back the other way is Baker, running the point guard position right now. He's going to go over to DeOrio. Swinging back around the perimeter as Baker has it on the left wing. Goes back up top to Bergman. Berger goes all the way over to Hurlis on the right wing. Now back over to the left wing to Berger. Berger taking on Page. He goes down low to the big man in the middle, Bruns. Now going back out as Berger spots up for three. Off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound goes to Keys. Now Marsh is going to bring it up for the Muskies. Bringing it up quickly, now going to the left wing. He'll hand it off to Ricky Wilson, who's going to get into the lane, steps back, and kicks it back out to Page. Page getting into the key, now gives it over to Dempsey. Dempsey from the right elbow, and that one's good for the first points of the game. Muskies take an early 2-0 lead here against Ohio Northern. Hurlis brings the ball up for the Polar Bears. He'll go over to Berger in the right wing. Berger gets a screen, now going into the key, goes out to Hurlis on the left wing. Hurlis going down low to DeOrio. DeOrio going with a turnaround jumper, and that one will fall over the top of Josh Keys. Ties this one back up at 2 points apiece, just a minute and a half into the contest as Page brings the ball up for the Muskies. He'll hand it off to Dempsey in the right wing. Dempsey into the wing, looks for an outlet, gives it back to Page on the right wing. Page looking to isolate Berger, now going to a cutting Marsh, but the ball goes just a little too far out of his hands, and it will go out of bounds. Turnover going back the other way to the Polar Bears. Now Hurlis will bring the ball up for Ohio Northern. He'll be guarded by Jarrell Marsh today. He's going to hand the ball off to Berger. Berger switching off. Now back to Hurlis on the right wing. Going down low to the key to Bruns. Now back out and a spot up three, and they're going to say it won't count as the shot fell, but they're going to say that Baker was out of bounds when he caught the ball, so the Muskies get the ball back on a turnover going back the other way. 2 minutes into the contest with a 2-2 tie early on in this one. Page crosses half court looking to set up the Muskie offense. He's got it at the high point. He's going to go over to Marsh in the right wing. Marsh gets a screen from Wilson. Marsh spots up for three, and that one's good. Muskies reclaim the lead by 3 points, 5-2, 17:48 remaining in the first half. Going down low to Bruns. Bruns with a floater jumper, and that one's good. Back to a 1-point game as Bruns is dominating with his size down low in the post so far. Josh Keys has got to do something to figure that one out as Page is going to hand it off to Dempsey. Dempsey in the right wing. He'll drive into the lane. Looking for an outlet. Gives it over on the right elbow to Keys. Keys with a couple pump fakes. Now drives to the hoop. He's going to go with a turnaround jumper. Off the rim. No good, but he will draw the foul on Bruns. Good move by Keys down in the low post to get Bruns into a little bit of early foul trouble.
A few things I've noticed from the first few minutes is it's great to see Jarrell Marsh make his first three because we all know he struggles at some points with three-point shooting. And another thing is just the Muskies have always had trouble guarding big men. It seems like the big men always come in and dominate down low, but hopefully Josh Keys is able to really lock them down defensively today.
Keys misses the first free throw attempt, keeping the score right where it is at 5-4. Second attempt is up and good, so the Muskies take a 2-point lead, 6-4, 17:20 remaining in the first half. Ohio Northern going back the other way as Baker's got it in the left wing. He's going to hand it off and now swinging around the perimeter to Hurlis. Going back to the corner to Baker with a pump fake, now trying to go baseline. Dempsey taking him on and off the rim and falls, getting the friendly shooter's roll. Ties this one back up at 6 points apiece, 3 minutes into the ball game. Page brings the ball up for the Muskies, gives it over to Wilson, right wing. Now back over to Dempsey on the right wing. Dempsey for a spot up three, and that one's off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound goes to Baker. Going the other way now is Berger. Berger gives it over to Hurlis. Hurlis down low, tipped away by Keys. Good defense there on the post as they tried to go back. And now to a cutting, wide open Hurlis. Great no-look pass on the play by the Polar Bears as they take their first lead of the contest, 8-6 over the Fighting Muskies. Page is going to get a screen from Keys, now trying to drive into the right wing. He retreats and goes down low on the low elbow. Now Keys drives into the lane, spin around jumper, and that one's good. Keys already with 3 points in today's contest, tying this one back up at 8 points apiece. Now Ohio Northern running things over on the other end, going back up top to Berger. Now swinging around the perimeter to DeOrio. Going back the other way, Baker for a long three from the left wing, and that one's good. A 3-point lead now for Ohio Northern, 11-8 over the Muskies. Page brings the ball up, getting instruction from Coach Schwab over on the bench. Just under 16 minutes remaining in the first half as Marsh gets it left wing. Marsh spots up for three off the front of the rim, no good. He'll get his own rebound as it goes to Dempsey though. Now Dempsey with the ball right wing and a fresh possession for the Muskies. Dempsey with a heat check three, and that one's good. Ties this game right back up. 11 points apiece after the 3-point make from Marcus Dempsey. Hurl is bringing the ball up for the Polar Bears. Looking for an outlet, goes to a cutting DeOrio, blocked from behind by Keys. DeOrio gets the rebound though and kicks it back out to Berger. Hurlis now on the left wing, looking to go down low, gives it over, and now to a cutting Baker. Baker gets past Ricky Wilson on the play and gets an easy make on the layup, increasing the lead back out to 2 points, 13-11 for the Polar Bears. 15 minutes remaining in the first half as Marsh is going to go and get blocked on the other end by the big man Bruns. And now going back the other way are the Polar Bears. Down low to Bruns on the left block. He's got the mismatch on Ricky Wilson. Missed the layup though, and the ball goes out of bounds. Officials say last touch by Josh Keys, and the ball will stay in the possession of the Polar Bears.
I thought that one might have gone out on Ohio Northern, but I guess the ref saw something else. And if these first few minutes are any indication, this could be a shootout today.
Subs for both squads as Allen is going to check in for the Polar Bears and Rob Heisey comes in for the Muskies as Keys goes to the bench. Berger went to the bench for the Polar Bears, so that will likely be the main two that we see rotating in and out for Ohio Northern. Going to DeOrio in the right corner, spot up three, and that one's good. Now a 5-point lead for Ohio Northern, 16-11 over the Muskies. 14 and a half minutes remaining in the first half.
Yeah, and Pert came in too for the Muskies.
Pert running the point now. He's going to give it over to Heisey on the elbow. Heisey drives into the lane, looks for a cutting Pert, no go there. Now over to a spot-up jumper for Dempsey, no good. Rebound goes to Baker. Now going the other way is Hurlis for the Ohio Northern Polar Bears. He's going to go with a behind-the-back pass, tried to get a little fancy there, giving it back to Baker, and the ball will go out of bounds, and it will go back over to the Muskies on possession. Jacob Geller checking in for the Muskies for the first time today, as well as Andrew Robinson. Robinson will come in for Dempsey, as Geller came in for Ricky Wilson. Muskies will inbound it as Pert will run the point. 14 minutes remaining in the first half as the Muskies trail 16-11, and Pert gets a wide open lane to the basket off the screen from Heisey, and that's back to a 3-point game, 16-13. Just under 14 minutes left in the opening half of today's game. Going back now to Allen on the other way. Allen looking for an outlet. Going to the left corner to DeOrio. DeOrio spots up for three, no good. Rebound goes to Marsh going the other way. Marsh going to run the point, brings the ball up himself. Now over in the left wing, going to get a screen from Heisey. Marsh on the elbow. And he will kick it back out to Pert to the high right point. Now back over to Marsh. Marsh on the right wing. Going to get another screen from Heisey. Gets into the lane, and now with a behind-the-back crossover, goes off the glass, no good. Rebound will go to the Polar Bears, trying to keep it in bounds, and now a spot-up three from Robinson, no good, as Heisey came away with the save play from Ohio Northern. Now the Polar Bears go back the other way on the rebound from Hurlis. Trying to go to a cutting Hurlis, and the ball will go out of bounds as DeOrio having a few words for Hurlis as he wasn't ready for the pass. And the Muskies will get the ball back on another turnover. Now Bruns is going to go to the bench.
Yeah, both teams are playing really quick right now as Robinson really rushed his three on that last possession, and then the Polar Bears just kind of passed it off the guy's leg, and he wasn't ready, and they just weren't smart about the pass.
Pert getting into the lane, and he gets another easy layup. Gets it back to a 1-point game, 16-15, as Aaron Thress checked in for the Polar Bears. Now Allen looking for an outlet. He'll be guarded by Pert. He goes back over to Hurlis on the right wing. Now back up top to Baker, going over to DeOrio on the left wing. Swinging back around the perimeter as Baker's got it up top. He'll be guarded by Marsh, now trying to drive into the lane. Loses the ball, gives it over to Thress, and Thress with a little 14-foot jumper. Gets that one to fall. Polar Bears lead by 3. And the inbound pass is going to be intercepted, but a travel call being called on DeOrio. Lazy inbound there, and Coach Schwab is furious with Geller, wanting to go to Pert, but the waiting Polar Bear was right there. And the official calling for a stoppage as there was a sub that came in. Dempsey came in for Marsh. And now the inbound is going to be complete by the Muskies. Bringing the ball up is Pert. Down by 3 points with 12 minutes remaining in the first half. Dempsey with the ball, right wing. He's going to try to drive into the lane. Going to hand it off to Robinson on the left wing. Robinson goes to Geller up top. Geller has the ball taken away and a reach-in foul being called on Thress on the play. That will keep the Muskies with possession and a fresh shot clock. Second team foul of the contest for the Polar Bears. First personal on DeOrio, as now Keys is going to check back in and Heisey goes back to the bench.
Yeah, the Polar Bears are really trying to get some steals here early in this game, as they almost had two in this, but in this just one possession for the Muskies.
Geller inbounds it on the left corner to Dempsey. Dempsey going to ISO his man up. That's Allen on the play. Had the ball taken away and a jump ball being assessed. Possession arrow in favor of the Polar Bears. Not really sure where the jump ball came from, as the possession never really left Dempsey's hands. If anything, it should have been an up and down on Dempsey.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was going to be an up and down. I don't know where they got the jump ball from, but
either way, the ball goes over to the Polar Bears as Hurlis brings the ball up. He'll go over to DeOrio up top, now swinging around the perimeter to Allen. Allen going over to the cutting Thress. Thress in the paint, has it go off the glass, and that one will be no good. Fighting for the rebound as Thress is going to come down with his own board. Now tipped away by Dempsey, going to Baker, who spots up for three. Off the rim, no good. Thress going over the back of Keys to get that rebound. Officials didn't call the foul, and he will get the putback layup to increase the lead back out 20-15, almost halfway through the first half, as Page, who just checked back in, gives it over to Dempsey. Dempsey kicks it out to Robinson. Robinson back to Geller in the right wing. Now going to a cutting Dempsey, and a floating layup there for Josh Keys. His 5th point of the contest gets it back to a 3-point game, 2017. Miscommunication on the pass as the ball will go out of bounds. Looks like Hurlis wanted to go to the cutting DeOrio, and he wasn't ready for it. Neither was Allen, and the ball will go back to the Muskies on the turnover as Ricky Wilson and Jarrell Marsh check back in for the Fighting Muskies. Starting 5 back out on the floor for Coach Schwab's Muskie team. Down by 3 points, 20-17, just under 11 minutes remaining in the opening half. Page gets a screen from Keys, now looking to go back out, and he retreats back out to the line. He's going to hand it over to Dempsey on the right wing. Dempsey brings the ball across, gives it over to Marsh up top. Marsh looking to ISO his man up, goes with the hop step, and now with a floating layup, an acrobatic look for Marsh. Don't know how he got that one to fall, but he gets the Muskies back within one, 20-19, as the Polar Bears will go down low to Thresh on the low left block, and now a floating layup to the cutting DeOrio. He went over Ricky Wilson to get to that one, increases it back out to 3, 22-19. Page spotting up from the elbow, and that one's good. Back to a 1-point game, 22-21. Halfway through the first half, as Thress is going to get the ball down low. Sends it up, and it will be blocked from behind partially by Keys. Now running back the other way is Dempsey. Dempsey with the easy layup in transition. Muskies retake the lead, 23-22. Back the other way is Allen for the Polar Bears. Pump faked and gives it back over to Hurlis. Hurlis down on the right block, kicks it back out to the right wing to Allen. Allen for a step back jumper, gets that one off the rim, no good. Rebound goes to Marsh, now running the other way in transition. 9:30 remaining in the first half as the Muskies lead by 1, 23-22. Marsh into the lane, off the glass, and good, and the foul!
Wow, the Muskies have been looking great over these last couple minutes. They've got a lot of almost fast break plays and a lot of quick baskets, and they are taking the lead now. And one thing I've noticed for the Polar Bears is they have had at least 3 instances where they've had bad passes to their players, and they just don't seem to be communicating well. And if I were Coach Bensman, I'd really be getting on them in their next time out.
Jarrell Marsh's 3-point play attempt is no good off the front of the rim as the score stays the same, 25-22. Muskies lead by 3. Hurlis with the ball, now goes over to the left wing to Baker. Down low to Thress. Thress looking to post up on Keys. Keys takes it away, and now going the other way on the steal are the Muskies. Slowing things down is Dempsey, waiting for the numbers to catch back up. Dempsey into the lane, now gives it back up top to Marsh on the high left point. 9:07 remaining in the opening half. Muskies with a 3-point lead, looking to add on. Marsh goes with a floating layup, and that one's also good. Now a defensive timeout being taken by Coach Schwab on the other end. And as they take a break, we will take one right with them. And we will be right back with more first half action. Muskies up 27-22 on the Orbit Media Sports Network.
The Forum. We're that kind of restaurant.
Want to celebrate after your team's unbelievable victory? We're that kind of restaurant. Hungry after a late night of studying? How about a late night drive-thru? We're that kind of restaurant. Need a place to wind down after a long day? How about a full-service bar? We're that kind of restaurant. With great prices, great food, and a great environment, we're that kind of restaurant.
The Forum Restaurant. Because life was meant to be enjoyed.
Sweet chocolate-covered marshmallows.
Welcome back to the ANSI Steel Center here on the campus of Muskingum University for today's OAC men's basketball matchup between the Ohio Northern Polar Bears visiting the Fighting Muskies here in New Concourse. 7:22 with 8:59 remaining in the opening half. I'm Chris Morgan, joined by Michael Pagano up in the broadcast booth, as well as our sideline reporter Logan Weaver for today's contest. And Michael, when you really look at what this team has been doing, the Fighting Muskies weathering an early storm by the Polar Bears, and they've been able to come back and take their own lead, now on a bit of a run themselves offensively.
Yeah, they've been shooting the ball very, very well. And one thing I noticed is the crowd is very big today. This might be the most I've seen all year long, and it's really nice to see the good Muskies basketball team getting some support today.
The crowd is here in full support of the Fighting Muskies, as well as some recruits coming in, especially on the football side. So the football team hosting some recruits, getting some good Muskie basketball action as the Muskies lead 27-22. On offense are the Polar Bears, as Berger checked back in after the timeout. He's got the ball at the high point. He's going to give it over to Allen. Allen over to Hurlis. 3-point guards right now on the floor for the Polar Bears. Goes back over to DeOrio. Back up top to the right wing to Hurlis. 6 seconds left on the shot clock as Hurlis is going to take on Marsh. Hurlis has to put something up with a lucky floater, and that one's no good. Rebounded by Page. Page going the other way in transition. He'll slow things down, going to Dempsey on the right wing. Dempsey drives into the lane, kicks it back out to Wilson, right wing. Wilson now driving into the paint, looking to give the ball up. He'll go over to Keys. Keys on the low left block, kicks it back around, and now going back up to the high point to Marsh. 10 seconds on the shot clock, and looks like Marsh is going to call for the pick and roll from Keys. Marsh on the right wing, stepping back for three, and that one will be off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound goes to Berger, going the other way. Marsh doing a good job of stopping the ball in transition. Berger gets him off his feet as Marsh is going to take the ball away momentarily, but Berger comes up with it and gets the easy layup. Gets it back to a 3-point game, 27-24, 7:44 remaining in the first half. Muskies going back the other way as Marsh has it in the left wing. Now he's going to try to drive into the lane, kicks it back out, left wing. Now back to Keys, and Keys with an easy layup, got behind Thress on the defensive end. Back to a 5-point Muskie lead, 29-24. Hurlis brings the ball up, almost an over and back. Some of the Muskie fans thought that they would have gotten that one, but the officials not seeing it that way as Hurlis has the ball left wing, going down low to the left block to Thress. Thress going to post up, and he'll go with a floater, and that will be no good. Tried to go over the top of Josh Keys. Good defense by the senior for the Muskies as they get the rebound, going back the other way. Keys with it, spotting up from the right elbow, off the rim, no good. Rebound goes to Thress. Hurlis bringing the ball up. Now he's going to go all the way down to the left wing to Berger. Berger with a pump fake, now kicks it back out, gets the ball right back on the give and go. Berger for a long three, and that one's good. Muskies' lead is down to 2 points, 29-27, with 6:40 remaining in the first half. Page is going to bring the ball up for the Muskies, gets a screen from Keys. Page looking for the cutting Marsh, had to hold back after Marsh decided to hold back on his cut. Now Ricky Wilson's going to spot up from the elbow, and that one's good. An easy shot there for Wilson coming off the pick. Gets it back to 31-27. Muskies lead by 4. DeOrio with the ball, gives it over to Berger. Now over to Allen. Allen back over to Berger, now back over to the right block. Swinging around and now back out to the perimeter to Berger. Berger drives into the lane, goes to the floater, and nothing on that one. Coming up empty, and now the Muskies have numbers going the other way. Marsh into the lane with an easy reverse layup, and that one's good. Muskies lead back out to 6 points, 33-27. Allen gives it over to Thress on the left wing. He's going to look to give the ball up to Hurlis over on the other wing. Hurlis going all the way to the left corner to DeOrio. DeOrio for a wide open three as Wilson didn't rotate over. And now is back to a 3-point game, 33-30. 5:39 remaining in the opening half.
As a lot of subs are set to come in for the Muskies, Pert Heisey and Josh Glass all coming off the bench at the next dead ball.
And it looks like Bruns is going to be able to check back in for the Polar Bears, as well as Hurlis is going to get an easy layup in transition off the steal. 1 point game, 33-32, with just over 5 minutes remaining in the opening half of today's contest. As Page is going to give the ball over to Marsh, left wing. Marsh for an open three, and that one's good. Nothing but net. 36-32 off of Marsh's 14th point of the contest already. Tried to take the ball away from Hurlis as Hurlis drives into the lane. Tried to give it down low on the no-look pass to Thress, and that one will go out of bounds. Last touch by the Polar Bears. Muskies get the ball back as Pert, Glass, and Heisey all check in. Bruns checks back in for the Polar Bears on the other end.
As Page, Keys, and I believe Dempsey are the ones that come out for the Muskies.
Pert brings the ball up for the Muskies. Gonna run a good play here. Pick and roll action with Heisey. Pert gets into the lane, has to give it up, and Glass lost the ball, but right over to the hands of Heisey. Now trying to go back over, and believe we're going to see a foul assessed to the Muskies. Turnover going back the other way to Ohio Northern, as we are going to see Jacob Geller check back in as well for the Fighting Muskies. Ricky Wilson goes to the bench. Muskies lead by 4, 36-32, 4.5 minutes remaining in the opening half. Going down low to Bruns. Bruns with an easy layup as Heisey couldn't rotate over in time. Gets it back to a 2-point game, 36-34. Pert brings the ball up for the Fighting Muskies. He's going to drive into the lane, gets blocked by Bruns. Rebound on the Ohio Northern Polar Bears, now going the other way in transition as Pert almost took the ball away from behind. Now going to Berger in the left corner. He's going to go into the lane, and an easy layup once again on the transition play by the Polar Bears. And this one's all back tied up, 36 points apiece, 4 minutes remaining in the opening half. Pert brings the ball up for the Muskies. He's going to give it over to Marsh, right wing. The screen from Heisey. Marsh stepping back for a long three, and that one's off the rim, no good. Rebound kicked out by Geller, back to Marsh, and the Muskies will take back over with a fresh shot clock. Marsh into the lane, looking to get open, and now with a turnaround jumper off the rim, no good. Rebound goes to Berger. Berger going back the other way for Ohio Northern. 3.5 minutes remaining in the first half. He gives it over to D'Orio. D'Orio off the rim, no good. Rebound goes to Bruns. Bruns with a spin back putback, and that one's good. Gets back out to a 2-point Ohio Northern lead, 38-36. And Coach Schwab wants another timeout. He's not happy with his team losing that lead. And as they take a timeout, we will take one right with them. And we will be right back. Muskies down by 2 on the Orbit Media Sports Network.
Sweet chocolate-covered marshmallows. Smooth, delicious pretzels. Divine chocolate treats of all kinds, all handcrafted and available right here in historic Cambridge. Unleash your inner chocoholic with nothing but chocolate. Located on 731 Wheeling Avenue in Cambridge, Ohio.
Welcome back to the ANSI Steel Center here on the campus of Muskingum University, where the Fighting Muskie men's basketball team finds themselves trailing 38-36 with 3:20 remaining in the Dempsey for a long three, no good, as Coach Schwab brought the starting 5 back in after the timeout. Wasn't getting production from the second unit, and a long three from Allen on the other end for Ohio Northern gets it back to a 5-point lead for the Polar Bears, 41-36 over the Fighting Muskies. Page brings the ball up for the Muskies. He's going to go to the right elbow to Keys. Keys spotting up for a jumper, and that one's good. He's had that spot all night as Bruns hasn't come up to make the adjustment. Gets it back to 3-point game, 38-41. Back on the floor for the Polar Bears is Baker. He'll give it back up top to the high point to Berger. Berger back to Allen. Now going to the cutting D'Orio. D'Orio looking for an outlet, goes back to Allen. Allen for another long three. That one's off the rim, no good. Trying to be saved by Bruns, and Marsh is right there to take it. Marsh goes over to Page. Page to the cutting Keys. Keys with a turnaround jumper, and that one's also good. Josh Keys now in double figures for the Muskies with his 11th point of the contest. He's the second Muskie to reach the double-figure plateau tonight, with Marsh having 14 already. Berger up top as the Muskies trail by 1, 41-40, 2 minutes remaining in the half. Now back up top to Berger. Berger going to be guarded closely by Ricky Wilson. He gets screened from Bruns. Switching out now is Keys. Back up top to Allen to the high point. Now back to Berger. Poked away momentarily by Keys. Now back over. Allen spotting up for three off the pump fake. Got Dempsey off his feet and is back out to a 4-point game. 44-40, a minute 45 remaining in the first half. Page with the ball for the Muskies. Gets a screen on the perimeter. He'll hand it off to Dempsey, right wing. Dempsey going to take on Allen. Sizing him up. Pulls up from the free throw line, rolls around the rim, and good. Friendly shooter's roll for the freshman Dempsey, back to a 2-point game. Now back over to Baker on the left wing, going around the perimeter now to Allen on the right wing. Allen gets a screen from DeOrio, going back over the other way and swinging back around to Berger. Berger down low to Bruns, easy layup there for Bruns on the play. Coach Schwab talking to the official saying that Bruns is pushing off of Keys to get open, but the official not having any of it as the Muskies down by 4 now, 46-42, with 1 minute remaining in the first half. Keys open at the free throw line. Looks like he's going to go with the pump fake. Almost got into the lane, but picked up his drag foot on the play. Officials calling him for traveling, and the turnover goes back over to Ohio Northern.
Yeah, an amazingly fast pace here. I mean, one team will go up by 5, then that other team will come back, then the other team will go back by 5, and it's just been back and forth all night long, and it's almost halftime, and this is a really high-scoring ball game.
Really high scoring and really fast-paced here today, as it seems like just a few minutes ago we were setting for the opening tip, but now we're almost to the halftime break as Baker's going to go off the rim. No good. Rebound goes to Marsh going the other way. He slows up his game, waiting for the numbers to catch back up. 30 seconds remaining as the Muskies are down by 4, 46-42, and it looks like Coach Schwab is going to have the Muskies hold for a final shot, as there's about a 5-second differential between the shot and the game clock. Marsh on the perimeter, trying to go into the lane, has it taken away, and Berger's going to get there. And we're going to have a reach-in foul on Marsh on the play after Berger picked up the ball and Marsh stripped it right back out. That'll be the first team foul for the Muskies in the half, first personal on Marsh, so a good job by the Muskies of staying out of foul trouble, but there haven't been a lot of fouls either way, as there's only 3 team fouls on Ohio Northern. So now with 16 seconds remaining, Ohio Northern has a chance for the final shot, leading by 4 points. Berger brings the ball up for the Polar Bears, goes back to Baker. Baker on the high point, goes into the lane, kicks it out to DeOrio. DeOrio spotting up for 3, and that one's good as the clock will expire on the first half of action. Muskies down 7 at the halftime break, 49-42 here inside the ANC Steel Center. We'll be with Logan Weaver, who will be live with Coach Schwab momentarily over on the sideline. In fact, let's go to Logan Weaver now, who is live with head coach Travis Schwab.
Guys, I'm here with Coach Schwab. Coach, what do you guys need to do to adjust in the second half? That way you can get the lead back.
Well, we got to move the ball a little bit better offensively. We got to work harder defensively to take away what they do. But overall, we played really hard. But we got a lot of things that we can do better to get the win in the second half.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Back to you.
Thank you, Logan. That's our sideline reporter, Logan Weaver, live on the sideline here today with head coach Travis Schwab. Muskies trail at the halftime break by 7 points, 49-42 to the visiting Ohio Northern Polar Bears. We will take a short break and send it back to the studio, and we will be right back with a closer look at the first half here on the Orbit Media Sports Network.
Your one-stop shop for all things computer-related is ABC Technical Services. Whether it's design, website maintenance, PC repair, or over-the-phone tech support, ABC Technical Services has you covered. ABC Technical Services can set up a new network, install the latest antivirus software, and they even offer full video production and editing services too. Give them a call at 740-432-5605 or visit them online at abctechnicalservices.com. A name you know, a name you trust. ABC Technical Services.
Look at all these televisions. Is this heaven? Have we all died and gone to the sports afterlife? No, but this place is no less holy. A miracle of flat screens and premium sports packages, all in the service of a sports fan's basest desires. So while this isn't the heaven, it is a heaven. And this one serves beer, which is a nice twist.
Buffalo Wild Wings, located in Zanesville and Cambridge.
Visit us at the Crumb & Cup behind the John and Annie Glenn Museum to warm up with a cup of soup and a hot drink, or grab a sandwich and some dessert. Stop in the Crumb & Cup Alley Cafe, where we take pride in making your day.
Welcome back to the NC Steel Center here on the campus of Muskingum University for today's OAC men's basketball matchup between the Muskingum University Fighting Muskies and the visiting Ohio Northern Polar Bears, presented by Orbit Media Sports. Once again, I am Chris Morgan, joined up in the broadcast booth by Michael Pagano, as well as on the sideline by Logan Weaver, with live interviews with Coach Schwab throughout the game here today. And Michael, when you look at the first half for this Muskie team, it's really been in back and forth battle. Muskies took a 5-point lead at one point, but now we're back to a 7-point lead, for the Polar Bears, 49-42 at the halftime break.
Yeah, it's been a really weird first half, I would say, because, like you said, just a game of runs so far. And if you were to watch the game, you would think the Muskies would be up by 20 at some points, and then you would think the Polar Bears would be up by a lot at some points. And it's just amazing to see how good the Muskies have been playing, and to still be down by 7 points is a little bit disappointing for Coach Schwab, but I have complete faith in them to be able to come back in the second half and play even better than they did in the first half.
I definitely agree with that. It's been a back and forth battle. Neither team has really been able to take a commanding lead in this one, and it's really been a lot of back and forth. Really main players for each team. It's been a lot of Jarrell Marsh and Josh Keys for the Muskies, as well as DeOrio and Bruns on the other side for Ohio Northern. We'll go a little bit further into that later on in the halftime show, but for this Muskie team, things have to be a little bit better on the defensive end. They've been giving up a lot of points on the low block to Bruns, and then they haven't been able to rotate out to the open shooters when DeOrio is spotting up for three from the corner. So I think they're going to have to tighten things up defensively, and that's something that Coach Schwab really wants to work on for the entirety of the season, and has been trying to get this Muskie team to do all along.
Yeah, I mean, they really have been struggling defensively all year long. A lot of their wins have been really close games, but they've been games in the 90s too. So that means they're giving up 94 points, 95 points. I mean, you're giving up a lot of points, and yeah, they're winning, but sometimes it's not the best if you're giving up a lot of points. And just like you said with Keys, he's just been playing very well, but also with him on defense for Bruns, I've noticed that, I mentioned it earlier, that the Muskies have been giving up a lot of points to big men all year long. I mean, with the exception, I don't think he scored too many, but he didn't really need to score too many that day. But I can't think of the guy from John Carroll's name, but the guy from John Carroll just destroyed the Muskies during that game. And yeah, they were able to come up with a win, but he had a lot of points, and they were lucky he fouled out at the end of the game, or else he might have been able to lead the Blue Streaks to that victory. And then another one was Otterbein. The big man at Otterbein was doing very well, and I think out of the game too. So the Muskies just need to do better of guarding their big men and not letting so many points in the paint.
And I think that's going to be an adjustment for Coach Schwab in the second half, just being able to get more big men out on the floor. They're not matching up very well size-wise with Ricky Wilson playing the 4. So maybe we'll see a lot more of Keys matching up with Heisey at the same time, and we'll just have to see what kind of adjustments that Coach Schwab is going to make in terms of sizing up well in the low post. With that, let's go ahead and take a short break here ourselves on the Orbit Media Sports Network, and we will be right back to talk more about the individual players that stood out in the first half. Muskies down 7 at the halftime break, 49-42.
The Forum, we're that kind of restaurant.
Want to celebrate after your team's unbelievable victory? We're that kind of restaurant. Hungry after a late night of studying? How about a late night drive-thru? We're that kind of restaurant. Need a place to wind down after a long day? How about a full-service bar? We're that kind of restaurant. With great prices, great food, and a great environment, we're that kind of restaurant.
The Forum Restaurant, meant to be enjoyed.
Sweet chocolate-covered marshmallows. Smooth, delicious pretzels. Divine chocolate treats of all kinds, all handcrafted and available right here in historic Cambridge. Unleash your with nothing but chocolate. Located on 731 Wheeling Avenue in Cambridge, Ohio.
Welcome back To the NC Steel Center here on the campus of Muskingum University, where the Fighting Muskie men's basketball team finds themselves down 7 points at the halftime break, 49-42 against the Northern Polar Bears. I'm Chris Morgan, joined by Michael Pagano here in the booth for the halftime show. And Michael, when you look at the players that individually stood out for each team in the first half, starting with the Muskies, it's been a lot of Jarrell Marsh, along with Josh Keys making a surprise appearance as a point scorer for the team today.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing very well. He's got 11 points. He's had a lot of mostly the same shots. He's been kind of just right around the foul line and just making a lot of shots. He's had a couple where he drove in and was able to get an easy layup, and he's been a good surprise for the Muskies point scoring wise. And then Marcus Dempsey also has 11 points. So the three guys we were talking about in the pregame show have really been playing very well in the first half. And one thing I noticed is I believe all the points came from the 5 starters except for 4, if I'm believing correctly, and those 4 would have come from Devon Pert. But they need some more bench scoring if they want to be able to win this game in the second half.
I definitely agree with that, but it has been very nice to see Josh Keys being able to get back into his groove offensively, something he hasn't really been able to do so far this year just because of the emergence of Dempsey as a scorer, and he's been taking a lot of shots away from Keys. But Keys has been able to do whatever he needs to do to get those points today, and it's been a big help for the Muskies. Without Keys hitting those elbow jumpers repeatedly today, the Muskies would be out of this game already with a huge deficit, but he's been able to keep them in it with those big makes, while the perimeter players have been, for the most part, kind of shut down on the other end, with the exception of Jarrell Marsh. And Dempsey's been able to get a few open looks, but hasn't found a whole lot. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that in the second half from Josh Keys. He's going to continue to make those adjustments on the low block, and maybe we'll see Bruns come out and guard him a little bit better on those big-time shots from the elbow, and that's going to be where we're going to see the cuts to the rim happening for both Jarrell Marsh and for Josh Keys off of the pump fake from those shots.
Yeah, and the thing with Ohio Northern is they are a fantastic three-point shooting team. They made 7 out of 12 shots so far, and that's really what the Muskies are going to have to lock down on defensively. I mean, maybe lock down a little bit, like I said, on Bruns down low, but they also got to be able to guard the 3-ball, because if they keep shooting the 3-ball as well as they did in the first half, the Muskies won't see the win today, probably.
And 3 of those 7 makes from three-point land came from Joey DeOrio. So there's going to be the big test for the Muskies, getting back out on the perimeter when they go down low to the block, to Bruns, and also with Thress coming in and being that kind of a presence as well. You have to be able to close out on the open shooters, and so far do that with the likes of DeOrio, and even with Devin Allen coming in and hitting some big threes of his own. So that's going to be the big adjustment for the Muskies defensively.
Yeah, I agree. The Muskies just need to really, I'm hoping Coach Schwab's just really hitting it home that, hey, we got to play better defense if we want to win this game, because their offense is fine. I don't worry about their offense whatsoever. It's just their defense has got to be a little bit better in the second half if they want to be able to win.
And with that, we will send it back to the studio for another break. And when we return, we will have our second half action just about ready to tip off, with the Muskies down by 7 points, 49-42 at the halftime break.
Your one-stop shop for all things computer-related is ABC Technical Services. Whether it's designing a new website, website maintenance, PC repair, or over-the-phone tech support, ABC Technical Services has you covered. ABC Technical Services can set up a new network, install the latest antivirus software, and they even offer full video production and editing services too. Give them a call at 740-432-5605 or visit them online at abctechnicalservices.com. A name you know, a name you trust. ABC Technical Services.
At all these televisions. Is this heaven? Have we all died and gone to the sports afterlife? No. But this place is no less holy. A miracle of flat screens and premium sports packages, all in the service of a sports fan's basest desires. So while this isn't the heaven, it is a heaven. And this one serves beer, which is a nice twist.
Buffalo Wild Wings, located in Zanesville and Cambridge.
Visit us at the Crumb and Cup behind the John and Annie Glenn Museum to warm up with a cup of soup and a hot drink, or grab a sandwich and some dessert. Stop in the Crumb and Cup Alley Cafe, where we take pride in making your day.
The Forum. We're that kind of restaurant.
Want to celebrate after your team's unbelievable victory? We're that kind of restaurant. Hungry after a late night of studying? How about a late night drive-thru? We're that kind of restaurant. Need a place to wind down after a long day? How about a full-service bar? We're that kind of restaurant. With great prices, great food, and a great environment, we're that kind of restaurant.
The Forum Restaurant. Because life was meant to be enjoyed.
Sweet chocolate-covered marshmallows. Smooth, delicious pretzels. Divine chocolate treats of all kinds, all handcrafted and available right here in historic Cambridge. Unleash your inner chocoholic with nothing but chocolate. Located on 731 Wheeling Avenue in Cambridge, Ohio.
Welcome back to the NC Steel Center here on the campus of Muskingum University for today's OAC men's basketball matchup between the Muskingum University Fighting Muskies and the visiting Ohio Northern Polar Bears. Muskies find themselves down at the halftime break 49-42, and they're going to have to make some adjustments here in the second half if they're going to come away with a victory. The good thing for them in this first half, Michael, is that they've been able to really make a lot of moves to keep themselves in the game, and it's been a lot of points coming from Jarrell Marsh and Josh Keys on the offensive end. Yeah, without Jarrell Marsh and Josh Keys, they wouldn't be in this game whatsoever. I mean, they've really been the catalyst that we expect them to be game in and game out. And Josh Keys, like we said, is a surprise, but I'm hoping he keeps it going in the second half, and he could have a very big game. And I'm sure he's had quite a few rebounds as well, as I'm not 100% sure how many rebounds he has, but he's just a great player. I mean, he's having a great senior year, and, I mean, he's going to be a big loss for the Muskies, but he's a great player. He really is, and he's been a great presence for this Muskie team today. The big thing is going to be, where do the points come from in the second half? I would expect them to keep going to Jarrell Marsh on the offensive end, and probably going back to Keys as well. He's got a bit of a hot hand today, so you don't want to leave that behind going back into the second half. Yeah, and I'm hoping Marcus Dempsey may get a little bit more in on the action. Yeah, he had 11 points, but he was kind of a quiet 11 points, so maybe he can be more the guy that he usually is as well, and maybe all three of those guys can have an over 20-point game if they're going to be able to win this game. They're going to have to put something up on the board if they're going to come away with the win. But we will take a short break, and we will be right back for second half action here on the Orbit Media Sports Network.
Your one-stop shop for all things computer-related is ABC Technical Services. Whether it's designing a new website, website maintenance, PC repair, or over-the-phone tech support, ABC Technical Services has you covered. ABC Technical Services can set up a new network, install the latest antivirus software, and they even offer full video production and editing services too. Give them a call at 740-432-5605 or visit them online at abctechnicalservices.com. A name you know, a name you trust. ABC Technical Services.
Welcome back to the NC Steel Center for second half action as the Fighting Muskie men's basketball team takes on Ohio Northern here at home in an OAC men's basketball matchup. Muskies enter the second half, and we've just got about a minute of action into the half as the Muskies lead 52-44 with Ohio Northern with the ball right now, as Berger is going to give it around the perimeter, now going to DeOrio on the right corner, swinging it back around to Berger, now onto the left elbow and back out to Berger. Berger stepping back for a long three, and that one's off the rim, no good. Rebound goes to Baker as that one rattles around the rim and falls on the putback. Looked like Baker might have gone over the back for the rebound, but the officials didn't call anything. So it's out to a 10-point game now, 54-44, Ohio Northern leads. Jarrell Marsh spots up for a long three, no good. Rebound going back to the Polar Bears, and now pushing it up the floor to Hurlis. Now back to Berger. Berger goes into the lane, tries to dish it back, and gets the ball taken away. Dempsey with an easy transition layup there, gets it back to an 8-point game, 54-46. And right back at it are the Polar Bears, as Baker is going to get an easy layup for his 14th point of the night. Gets it back out to 10 points, 56-46, Muskies trail. Jalen Page takes the ball for the Muskies. He's going to give it over to Dempsey. Dempsey, right wing, trying to go into the lane, and we will see a blocking foul being assessed to the Polar Bears. That one will go against Baker. Will be the first team foul, first personal foul in the second half for Baker. Ricky Wilson will inbound for the Fighting Muskies. He gets it into Marsh. Marsh thought about it, now spots up for three off the inbound, and that one falls. Muskies back within 7 points, 56-49, off of Marsh's 19th point of the evening.
This is a big possession here for the Muskies. They need to get a defensive stop and get some more points, and they'll be closer.
Hurlis gives it over to Berger on the right wing. Berger goes right back over, still on the right wing to Hurlis. Now giving it back over to Bruns. Bruns from the elbow, gives it back out top to Hurlis. Now going back over to Berger on the left wing. Berger into the lane, easy layup opportunity, off the rim, no good. Josh Keys gets the rebound though, and the Muskies will go back the other way. Trailing by 7, 56-49. Dempsey goes into the lane. He'll try to go over to Keys, and Keys lost the ball, and it will be ruled out of bounds as it went over top of the shot clock. Not quite sure what exactly happened on that one, but the ball got away from Keys, and now we'll go back over to the Polar Bears as Devon Pert checks in for the Muskies.
Yeah, that ball flew way up in the air. I don't know what happened. It looked like he was about to try and dunk it or make an easy layup, and it just got away from him.
So Ohio Northern will go back the other way with Hurlis running the point. He goes over to the left wing, trying to set something up, trying to go to Bruns on the post. Bruns will go onto the left block, posting up against Keys. Turnaround jumper, and that one will be good off the glass. Back to Muskies, 58-49, 16:40 remaining in the ballgame. Pert gives it over to Dempsey on the right wing. Dempsey spotting up for three from the top of the arc, and that one's good. 6-point deficit for the Muskies now, 58-52, as Hurlis will go back the other way, gives it over to Berger. Berger with a floater from the lane, no good. Left it too short on that one, and the rebound will go to Jarrell Marsh. Offensively, trying to set something up, gets a screen from Keys, now drives into the lane, has the ball taken away, and a good steal there by Hurlis as he pushes the ball up the floor to Baker. Baker in the right wing, gives it over to the cutting Hurlis. Hurlis trying to get into the lane. He goes down low to Berger. Now Berger retreats back out to the three-point line. Swings around the perimeter to Baker on the left wing. He'll be guarded by Dempsey. Baker goes back up top to Hurlis on the high left point. He will retreat back momentarily with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Trying to go down low, gives it back over and swings around the perimeter to Berger. Berger down low to DeOrio. DeOrio with a turnaround jumper from the left block. Gets turned away, and the ball goes over to Marsh in transition. Jarrell Marsh thought he should have been fouled, and a late blocking foul being called on the official. So that will send Jarrell Marsh with a chance to get the Muskies back within 4 points.
Although it was late, that was the right call. There was no way that wasn't a foul. I mean, he just had to fight through a lot of contact to even get a shot up. So, right call there by the official, I would say.
I completely agree, Michael, and we will see Jarrell Marsh looking for his 20th point of the game here in this one. First attempt is good and gets the Muskies back within 5, 58-53. Marsh getting set for his second attempt. And that one's also good as he makes both of the pair. Josh Glass will check in as Marsh goes over to the bench. Muskies back within 4 points now, 58-54. Marsh getting checked out momentarily by Coach Schwab, making sure they're on the same page going into the rest of the half. Some words of encouragement and some direction coming from the Muskies' second-year head coach, as the Polar Bears making a substitution as well, as Devin Allen will check in for Berger. Hurlis bringing the ball up for the Polar Bears. He'll give it over to Allen, right wing. Now he goes back over to Hurlis on the handoff. Hurlis trying to take on Pert, gives it back to Allen. Allen pump fakes, goes back over and spots up for three. No good. Rebounded by Glass, going back the other way as Bruns hits the deck. Muskies have a 5-on-4 right now. Ricky Wilson for three off the front of the rim. No good. Rebound goes to Allen. Muskies still down by 4, 58-54. Just 5 minutes into the second half as Hurlis brings the ball over into the right wing, looking to go down low to Bruns. Bruns will be guarded and posting up on Keys. Turnaround jumper off the glass and good. Keys has had issues guarding that all night long as the lengthy Bruns has been able to do whatever he wants down low in the post. He's got 16 now on the afternoon. Pert spotting up for a long three off the rim, no good. Rebound tipped in and around the rim by Ricky Wilson. Ball goes around though, and pass now intercepted by Keys after the miss. And now Dempsey gets an easy layup in transition. Back to a 4-point game, 60-56 in favor of the Ohio Northern Polar Bears. Back down low to the left block to Bruns. He'll post up on Keys again. Here comes that same move back inside. Ball stripped away this time by Keys and going right back up on the rebound. And a second chance opportunity for Bruns. He's got 18 now, 62-56. Muskies trail by 6 points. 14 minutes remaining in the second half as Pert brings the ball up for the Muskies, gives it to a cutting Dempsey on the left wing. Dempsey looking like he's going to spot up for a long shot off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound momentarily went to Glass, kept away and off the face of Ricky Wilson. Good save attempt there by DeOrio, sent it off the face of Wilson. Wasn't ready for it to come his way, and it will go back over to the Polar Bears on the turnover.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate there for the Muskies, but they are playing pretty well, and they're hanging around in this game and not letting the Polar Bears to get too far ahead here.
And that's exactly what the Muskies need to do. Stay within striking distance. Their run will come as Marsh is going to get set to check back in, I assume for Glass on the play. Heisey's going to post up, and he'll be taken on by Thress. Thress gets an easy layup there in the post. Gets it back to an 8-point game, 64-56. 13:30 remaining in the ball game as Wilson drives into the key. Turnaround jumper, and that one's good from the right block. Pert trying to run a bit of a full man press here, taking on Hurlis in the backcourt. Now he'll ease off after the inbound is completed as Hurlis goes over to the right wing. Hurlis trying to go down low to Thress. Heisey's got to play some good defense here. Thress back out and now swinging around the perimeter to Baker. Baker for three from the top of the arc, no good. Rebound goes to Dempsey the other way. Dempsey running it in transition over to the left wing. He's got Wilson open up top. Now Wilson going to drive into the key. Now to Heisey, who kicks it back to Glass. Glass for three from the right wing, off the rim, no good. Easy rebound going there for Thress. 6-point game still, 64-58, and a palm ball being called against Hurlis on the play. Turnover goes back over to the Muskies.
The Muskies are still continuing to give up too many points in the paint. I'm hoping over these last 12 minutes they're able to just hang in there. I mean, they obviously are going to give up some points, but they got to get some stops down there too.
So we will see Devon Pert bringing the ball up for the Muskies, running the point. He'll take on Allen all by himself, and the officials say the ball goes out of bounds off of Pert's knee. So the Muskies turn the ball back over, 64-58. Polar Bears, and that's just increased by another 2 points, 66-58. No one got back in transition, and now Coach Schwab is going to want to take a timeout. As they take one, we'll take one as well, and we will be right back here on the Orbit Media Sports Network. Muskies trail 66-58.
Look at all these televisions. Is this heaven? Have we all died and gone to the sports afterlife? No, but this place is no less holy. A miracle of flat screens and premium sports packages, all in the service of a sports fan's basest desires. So while this isn't the heaven, it is a heaven. And this one serves beer, which is a nice
Wild Wings, located in Zanesville and Cambridge.
Welcome back to the NC Steel Center here on the campus of Muskingum University for today's OAC men's basketball matchup between the Fighting Muskies and the visiting Ohio Northern Polar Bears. Polar Bears hold an 8-point lead currently, 66-58 over the Muskies, with 12:30 remaining in the ball game as Josh Glass tries to go into the paint. Gives it to a cutting Pert on the play. Ball goes out of bounds, though. Last touched by the Muskies, and now Jalen Page will check back in. Pert goes back to the bench.
And although Pert is a very good player off the bench, it's just the offense always runs a lot more smoothly when Page is in there.
So Coach Schwab wanting to bring a smooth operator back to the point guard position as the Polar Bears go to the left block, and a blocking foul being assessed against Heisey on the play. Tried to draw the charge as Thress was going to try to drive into the baseline. That'll be the second team foul for the Muskies, first personal for Heisey. And it will reset the shot clock for Ohio Northern. Polar Bears get the inbound into DeOrio, and DeOrio's going to go off the glass rim, and good! And he draws the foul on the play, so DeOrio with a chance to add one more onto this one, as Josh Keys is going to get set to check back in for the Fighting Muskies, trailing by 10 points.
Yeah, everything just seems to be falling for the Polar Bears. And the Muskies they're going to have to go on their run pretty soon because the lead is getting pretty big for the Polar Bears here, as it is already up to 10 points and it might be 11.
Free throw attempt from DeOrio is good. Gets it to an 11-point ball game. 69-58 with 12 minutes left to play in this one as Page brings it up the floor for the Muskies. Starting five without Marcus Dempsey in there as Josh Glass is running the two guard here. Marsh drives into the lane, pulls up from about 5 feet, almost gets his own rebound, still fighting for it, and the ball will go out of bounds. Last touched by Marsh. Good effort by the sophomore trying to get to that rebound and make something happen offensively. Just couldn't quite get to it as Hurlis is going to bring the ball up for Ohio Northern. He'll drive into the left lane. Now he's going to give it down low to Thress. Thress is going to post up and tries to go off the glass. No good. Gets his own rebound, though. Now being double teamed on the post. Goes to the reverse. And now the rebound will eventually go to Glass on the putback attempt. Keys running slowly up the floor. And Glass is going to go into the lane. A foul being called, I believe, on the floor against Ohio Northern.
Nope, he will be shooting.
They will, in fact, be shooting. The foul being assessed to Baker, his second personal, team third for the Polar Bears. And it will send Josh Glass to the line for 2 free throws. Glass getting set for his first attempt. First one falls, gets it back to a 10-point game, 69-59. As Dempsey checks back in, Ricky Wilson will go to the bench. Looks like the Muskies are just going to concede the rebound on this one as they send all the other 4 back. Good decision by Coach Schwab as the Polar Bears have been really good in transition here today. Second attempt by Glass is also good, so the defense going back doesn't matter. Down to a 9-point deficit for the Muskies, 69-60. As Berger is going to bring the ball up for the Polar Bears, now over to the right wing. Berger, right wing, looking to get past Dempsey, now goes down low to DeOrio, back out to Berger, to DeOrio on the right wing, spots up for 3, off the rim, no good. Rebound goes to Baker, and they are going to call Jarrell Marsh for a foul on the play, reaching over, trying to get to the ball. That will be his second personal, team fourth, and will reset the shot clock and a new possession for Ohio Northern. Berger will inbound. He'll be guarded by Page on the inbound play. Going back out to Thress, and he'll take the ball on the perimeter, going over to Allen. Allen trying to drive, now steps back, goes down low to the right block to Thress. Thress goes off the rim, and good. Keys doing everything he can defensively, but a lot of banging down low by the bigs for Ohio Northern, and they are taking advantage of Keys. Keys goes around the perimeter now to Jalen Page. Page on the elbow, kicks it back out to Glass up top at the point. Back over to the right wing to Dempsey. Now Dempsey's going to try to drive in, hands it off to Page. 12 seconds on the shot clock as Page kicks it back out to Dempsey on the left wing. Dempsey going to try to drive into the lane, goes to the turnaround jumper off the rim, no good. Rebound kicked around and eventually goes to Berger for Ohio Northern. Going back the other way are the Polar Bears, going down low to Thress. Thress wide open, and a foul, and another one for the Polar Bears. After Thress got Keys off of his feet and into the air, committed the foul, and now a 13-point lead for Ohio Northern with a chance to make it 14 off the three-point play.
And the Muskies are starting to really struggle on offense and on defense, and they really do need this timeout they're getting right now.
And as they take a break, we will take one right with them. Muskies down 13 points pending a free throw here on the Orbit Media Sports Network. 33-60, Ohio Northern leads.
Visit us at the Crumb and Cup behind the John and Annie Glenn Museum to warm up with a cup of soup and a hot drink, or grab a sandwich and some dessert. Stop in the Crumb and Cup Alley Cafe, where we take pride in making your day.
The Forum.
Welcome back to the NC Steel Center here on the campus of Muskingum University, where the Fighting Muskies find themselves trailing 73-60 to the visiting Ohio Northern Polar Bears in today's OAC men's basketball matchup. Once again, I'm Chris Morgan alongside Michael Pagano in the broadcast booth, joined by our sideline reporter Logan Weaver in today's contest. And the Muskies, after giving up a couple of and-one opportunities, are facing another one here with Thress about to go to the line for Ohio Northern. And this lead is starting to pile up for the Polar Bears. The Muskies have to be careful that they don't let this one get too out of hand with 10 and a half minutes remaining in the ballgame.
Yeah, I mean, they really do. I mean, it's just they can't stop the Polar Bears on offense. I mean, they haven't been able to stop them this whole second half. They weren't able to stop them in the first half, and their offense hasn't been good enough to come back, and it's just something's got to change if they're going to want to win this one.
And the big thing has been the size difference down low for the Muskies. They have not been able to compete with the bigs for Ohio Northern in Aaron Thress and Ryan Bruns, as the free throw attempt from Thress is no good, keeping it at a 13-point game, 73-60. But Keys has just not been able to do anything defensively, even though he's been trying, as Glass converts on the other end, gets it back to a 9-point game, 73-62. Glass now with 4 points on the afternoon, as Berger goes back the other way to DeOrio in the right wing. Now back over right to Berger. Now back to Bruns, and Bruns is going to be blocked from behind by Keys. Good defense there off of the double team down low. Marsh came to originally start it. Now Glass for a long three, and that one's good.
Josh Glass, a very surprising player to step up right now, and it's great he's stepping up. He's a senior. He's getting some minutes, and he's really making the most of them.
8-point game now as Baker's got the ball on the perimeter, and Glass, who had been buried on the depth chart this season, as Baker's going to complain about not getting a foul on that one. Doesn't get the call, though, as Glass has it on the right wing. Now gives it over to Page in the right corner. Page now driving into the paint, gives it back out to the left wing to Dempsey. Dempsey into the lane, goes with the easy layup. No good there on that one, though, as he drew some contact on Thress. And now Marcus Dempsey will go to the charity stripe for 2 shots. And this is the run that the Muskies needed to get back into the game. Now down 8 points, 73-65, with a chance to add 2 more onto their total with Dempsey at the line.
And I almost said something earlier about Josh Glass and almost said, like, hey, maybe he's the guy that they really got to get the ball to. Maybe he can be the surprising guy to get them back into this game, and I'm hoping they keep giving him the ball because he's hot right now.
Dempsey splits the pair, only making one of the two, down to a 73-66 score off of Dempsey's 17th point of the night as he approaches the 20-point threshold. Berger with the ball on the right wing, trying to drive down low. That was Allen, and we will see a foul on the floor assessed against the Polar Bears. That one will be against Allen on the play, throwing the elbow out to try to get some separation from Page. All I got to say is about time they called that one. Ohio Northern's been throwing elbows out there all night.
Yeah.
As Page is going to let this one roll before picking it up with 9 minutes remaining. Gives it over to Glass on the left wing. Glass into the lane. Layup attempts turned away by Thress, and he will come away with the rebound after the block. Now going back the other way is Berger. Berger goes over to DeOrio, back to Berger on the left wing. Now over up top and swinging around the perimeter to DeOrio. DeOrio goes over to Baker on the left wing, now back over to Berger. Berger going to try to drive baseline with a floating layup, and that one's good. Gets it back to a 9-point game, 75-66, with 8:30 remaining in the ball game. Dempsey brings the ball up for the Fighting Muskies. He'll hand it off to Page. Page running the motion offense, gives it to Glass. Now Glass drives into the lane, kicks it over to Keys. Keys with the easy layup. Good two-man action there on the low block, and is back down to a 68-75 deficit for the Fighting Muskies. Keys getting his first 2 points of the second half after scoring 11 in the first. As Baker is going to go around to the right wing, now back up to the high right point. Swinging back around to Baker on the left wing, now going back over to Allen. Allen, left wing, trying to find something, and Dempsey's going to take the ball away, and a foul being called. The fans for the Muskies can't believe it, as they're going to call Dempsey for reaching in. He got all ball on that. I don't know where that foul came from.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very bad call. I mean, I would say it looked like he did have all ball, and the Muskies probably would have got 2 easy points there, but the refs took it away from them, and they're going to get the ball back to Ohio Northern.
Ricky Wilson and Devon Pert checking in for the Muskies as Glass and Page go to the bench. Inbound will go to Berger, now hands it over to Baker. Baker spots up and blocked by Josh Keys. Keys comes away with the rebound, now going to Marsh in transition, and Marsh flushes it home!
As what the Muskies needed, that gets the crowd into it, and they're only down by 5 points now with plenty of time left in this one.
And now a timeout being called by the Polar Bears. We'll keep it here for this timeout. And Michael, when you look at what we're doing here with the Fighting Muskies, getting on a run offensively, Coach Schwab is happy over there on the bench, now trying to plead his case to the official about that phantom reach-in call on Marcus Dempsey. But overall, this Muskie team, they're weathering the storm. They've gotten themselves back in it. They're within 5 points with 7.5 minutes to go. There's still plenty of basketball left to be played in this game, and the Muskies are back within an opportunity to come back and win this one.
Yeah, I mean, that's what this team does. They never go away. They keep fighting, and they know they have the offense to come back from any deficit. And yes, they're still down by 5 points, but they have the momentum on this side. They have the fans on their side, obviously, and they need to just keep hanging in there on the defensive end and get another stop. And a big thing is Josh Keys. He's got like 4 blocks now, and he's just been playing great defense ever since we mentioned something about it, and he's just got to keep blocking it and get the Muskies easy, fast break points like that one.
And that's exactly what the Muskies need to do. The defense has tightened up a little bit. They're still giving up those looks on the low block, but they've been able to really take away the perimeter shots so far in this second half for Ohio Northern. The main damage the Polar Bears have been able to do is down on the low block with Thress as well as Bruns, who we haven't seen in a little while. So if the Muskies can continue to take away the perimeter shots and just continue those double teams down low on the block, then they're going to find themselves in a good place defensively as we get reset here with the inbound going to Thress, and he'll give it right back to Berger for the Polar Bears. Berger over to the left wing. He's trying everything he can to keep Thress out of the play as he's looking to post up down low. Back over to Berger, left wing, trying to go down low to Thress. Hurt doing a good job defensively too, and ball tipped out of bounds, trying to go all the way across the court were the Polar Bears, and tipped out of bounds by Marsh. So the Polar Bears will reset in front of their own bench with only 6 seconds left on the shot clock.
It's a big stop if they're able to get it here.
Inbound goes to Oreo, down low to Thress, and they're gonna call Keys for holding down on the floor. So that's not quite enough to send the Polar Bears to the free throw line. Actually, it is, as that's the 7th team foul on the Muskies. So that will send Thress to the line for the front end of a 1-and-1.
And big men are not exactly known for shooting free throws, so we'll see if he's able to put these ones home.
First attempt from Thress is off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound goes to Keys, and the Muskies come away victorious that time on the defensive end, as Dempsey brings the ball up on the offensive end, trying to drive into the lane, gets the ball taken away from him. Officials say the ball went off of Dempsey. Dempsey thought it went off of Ohio Northern, so did Coach Schwab. And that's the theme we've been seeing on this end of the court. The Muskies have had some turnovers not go their way, and now Ohio Northern goes back the other way with 7 minutes remaining. Muskies down by 5, 75-70. Pert trying to take the ball away from Berger as he goes into the lane. Gets blocked by Pert on the play, and now he'll go back the other way. Down to Marsh in transition, now slowing it back up. Goes to Dempsey. Dempsey for a fadeaway 3, off the rim, no good. Rebound goes to Berger, now going back to a wide open Baker. Baker into the lane, and he will draw the foul and one.
That is not the play the Muskies should have had there. They probably could have got it in a little quicker. I mean, they probably got to get it into the paint, and then Dempsey tried to shoot the kind of fade away almost 3, and it just wasn't the right shot. And then obviously it's a 3-point swing potentially now, and Jarrell kind of gave him a little bit of a push, and the refs saw it, and they're going to call that all day.
So a 7-point deficit for the Muskies right now. Potential for 8, and the free throw is off the rim, no good. Rebound now going to Keys. Thress complaining to the official that he was fouled on the play as Pert blows the layup on the other end. Now Marsh getting the ball back, and he'll be fouled. I believe that's going to be in the act of shooting, so that will send Jarrell Marsh to the line for 2 shots.
Man, this one's giving me a heart attack. I mean, goodness gracious, some of these plays and some of the calls by the officials are just not going the Muskies' way, and they just haven't been able to come up with it. And Coach Schwab takes off his vest there, and he means business now.
So that will not be enough to send Marsh to the line, apparently, as Ricky Wilson gets the inbound. He's got the ball in the paint, now kicks it out to Marsh. Marsh for a long 3, and that one's off the rim, no good. Wilson gets the rebound, though. Back for the putback attempt, rattles around the rim, no good. Rebound still going with the Muskies as Pert comes up with it. Pert into the lane, kicks to a driving Keys. Keys off the glass, no good. Foul, and gets his own putback. No foul being called on that one. The fan's not quite sure why, but Keys gets his own putback attempt to go, and it's now a 5-point game once again, 77-72 with 6 minutes remaining.
Jeez, I mean, so many putbacks, so many misses, so many attempts, and they finally got one to go.
DeOrio checked out and brought the big man back in with Bruns. So now Bruns and Thress on the court at the same time for the Polar Bears, and Thress is going to convert on another fouled shot, and that'll send him back to the line looking for another 3-point opportunity. And now the Muskies are going to counter with sending Heisey out there to play alongside Keys.
Yeah, too many of those have been happening all day long. Now I'm going to say it again, big men are not usually known for shooting free throws.
Thress gets that one
does get that one to go.
Now to an 8-point lead for the Polar Bears, 80-72 over the Fighting Muskies, as Pert's going to bring the ball up for Muskingum. Now back to Pert after giving it over to Dempsey momentarily. Back over to the left wing to Marsh. Marsh gives it back up top at the high point to Dempsey. Dempsey's going to be double-teamed momentarily by this zone defense that the Polar Bears are now running. Back over to Dempsey, now back over to Pert, right wing. Pert with 9 seconds on the shot clock, goes back around the perimeter to Marsh. 5 seconds, and now Marsh for 3, and that one's good.
Back to a 5-point lead for the Polar Bears. A big shot, a very tough shot, but he was able to get it go.
80-75 with 5 minutes remaining. Muskies still within striking distance as Allen goes down, and now going down low to Bruns. Bruns going to post up on Heisey. Gets it to go off the glass. No good. Rebound rolling around, and the ball will go out of bounds. Officials say last touch by the Polar Bears. And the Muskies will get the ball back on the turnover, going the other way offensively.
I love it when the Muskies play good defense on the big men, because you know he's going to get very upset down there, and he's going to want fouls called, and that's going to get into his head. And I'm thinking the Muskies are starting to get into Bruns' head.
Pert will inbound it and then get it right back from Jarrell Marsh to run the point. Just under 5 minutes remaining as Marsh gets the ball left wing. Going back all the way across to the right wing to Dempsey, now going down low to Heisey. Heisey tries to kick it back out to Pert, and it's taken away by Allen. Allen loses the ball momentarily, but gets it after resetting. Now going down low to the right block. Now back out to Allen on the high right point. Allen with the ball, going down low to Bruns. Bruns over to Berger. Berger drives baseline, gets blocked by Keys. Ball goes out of bounds, last touched by the Muskies, and it will stay with the Polar Bears with 12 seconds remaining on the shot clock.
Keys is playing great D in the second half. He's had quite a few blocks here. And the Muskies, like I keep saying, they need a big stop here, and they need a basket on the other end. They need to get this to within 3 points, or maybe even 2 points.
Muskies going back to their normal small ball lineup as Wilson's going to check in for Heisey. Muskies looking to double team Thress on the play, down low. Inbound goes to Bruns. Bruns gets blocked by Keys, gets his own rebound, and goes right back up. The 6'8" lengthy rebounder for the Polar Bears doing his work here today. He's got 20 points now, and the Muskies trail 82-75. Make that 82-78 a 4-point game after Jarrell Marsh connects on another 3. He's got 29 points now to lead all scorers. Berger going back the other way for Ohio Northern. He'll be guarded by Pert. Just under 4 minutes remaining as Allen will drive into the lane. He'll be picked up by Dempsey. Now go over to a cutting Baker. Baker taken on by Wilson. Wilson gets the block, and the rebound goes over to the Muskies after being kept inbounds by Baker. Now Dempsey coming back the other way, gives it over to Marsh. Marsh with the pump fake hesitation, taking on Thress. He's got the mismatch. Now back over to Pert, and he gives it right back to Marsh on the high left point. Marsh spots up for a long three. Heat check there, no good. Rebound goes to Berger.
Maybe not the best shot there, but he's been playing well.
Berger getting the ball in transition, and he will be fouled by Marsh on the play. Marsh can't believe he's getting called for a foul here. He thought he got all ball on the block, but it will send Bruns back to the charity stripe for 2 more shots.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like I said, that might have not been the best shot there for Marsh to take, but, he'd been making a lot of threes, and you never know what's going to happen, but now that sends him to the free throw line, and a missed shot there by Bruns, and Bruns is really struggling there at the free throw line right now.
Muskie's at 10 team fouls, so in the double bonus now the rest of the game as Bruns' second attempt. That one falls, so it's now back to a 5-point game, 83-78, as Jalen Page checks back in for the Fighting Muskies. Starting 5 back out there for the Muskies, trying to take on the twin towers of Thress and Bruns for the Polar Bears. Inbound goes to Page with 3.5 minutes remaining, and Muskies down by 5 points. Dempsey with the ball in the right wing. He'll spot up for 3, and that one's off the rim, no good. Rebound goes to Bruns, going back the other way. Slowly is Allen. Now he'll give it back over to Berger, who's picked up by Page. 3 minutes remaining in the game. Berger in the left wing, trying to find an opening, goes back up to the point to Baker. Baker swings it around right wing to Allen. Allen's going to get a screen from Bruns. A lazy screen there, just trying to create some motion. Now Berger with the ball, right wing. He'll be guarded and taken down low to Bruns. Bruns backing down on Keys. Gets that one not to go. Keys gets the rebound, and now Dempsey's coming back the other way. Muskie's still down by 5. Wilson with the ball, drives into the lane, dishes it out to Page in the left corner. Page now down to the left block to Keys. Keys spots up from 10 feet and doesn't get that one to go. Hasn't taken that shot in a while, and he's gone cold from it now with that miss. Now down still with a 5-point game, 83-78 with 2:20 left to play. Allen with the ball, guarded by Marsh. Marsh trying to take it away, now giving it back over to Berger. Possession arrow in favor of the Polar Bears right now, with any jump ball going to them. Berger with a floating layup, no good. Rebound goes out to Dempsey. Dempsey running in transition, gets into the lane and will draw the foul. Almost got the shot to go, but Dempsey will go to the charity stripe for 2 shots. Good job by the freshman, taking advantage of the mispositioning there defensively by Ohio Northern.
Yeah, I thought he might have kicked it out to Marsh at the 3-point line, but I like how he took it in because you're going to try and get your points.
First attempt from Dempsey is right down the middle. Nothing but net and good. Heisey will check back in with Wilson going to the bench. Muskies down by 4, 83-79 with 2:04 on the game clock. Dempsey could make this a 3-point game, and he does not do so. Keeping it right at 4 points after missing the second attempt, 83-79. 2 minutes left now as Berger's going to bring this one up. He gives it over to Allen, right wing. Now back up to the high left point, swings around to the left wing to Berger. Berger gives it over to Thress. Thress on the 3-point line, going to drive into the lane. He's backing down Keys, goes off the glass, no good. Too much on that one, and Bruns hit the deck, so the Muskies have a 5-on-4 right now. Now it evens back out as Dempsey slowed things down. Trying to reach in there is Allen. Now gives it over to Page. Page over to Marsh. Marsh thinking about it. He's got Baker. Trying to get Baker off the dribble. Takes it, and a floating layup is no good. Rebound taken in by Bruns. 1:20 remaining, and the Muskies are down by 4 points. Dempsey tried to go for the ball as Allen spun back around, and now a timeout being called by the Polar Bears. So we will take a short break right with them, and we will be right back with 1:14 remaining. Muskies trail 83-79. We'll be back after this.
The Forum, we're that kind of restaurant.
Want to celebrate after your team's unbelievable victory? We're that kind of restaurant. Hungry after a late night of studying? How about a late night drive-thru? We're that kind of restaurant. Need a place to wind down after a long day? How about a full-service bar? We're that kind of restaurant. With great prices, great food, and a great environment, we're that kind of restaurant.
The Forum Restaurant, because life was meant to be enjoyed.
Welcome back to the NC Steel Center. With 1:14 remaining in the ball game, the Muskies find themselves down 4 points to Ohio Northern, 83-79, looking for their 5th OAC win of the season, a 4-3 conference record right now for the Muskies, 5-2 on the other side for Ohio Northern. And Michael, when you look at the final minute 14 of this game, Muskies have to get some free throws to fall when they get to the line, and they just need to keep doing what they're doing defensively. The effort on defense is so good right now, but they need to connect on some buckets to get some more points on the board.
Yeah, I know. I mean, their defense has been playing great, but they just need to make the buckets, and they're running out of time. They're down by 4, but they obviously need 2 more baskets, and they need to keep playing good D.
So Berger will take the inbound for the Polar Bears. He'll give it over to Baker. Baker gives it over to Allen. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. 1:04 remaining in the ball game. Allen going to get a screen and now trying to take Dempsey off the dribble. He spots up from the free throw line. No good. Rebound is taken in one-handed by Bruns. And now that's going to reset the not the Purple Raiders, excuse me. This isn't Mount Union. This is the Polar Bears. And Dempsey's going to be forced to commit the foul on the play, sending Allen to the free throw line for 2 shots. 52.4 remaining with Devin Allen at the free throw line. First shot is good. Sub coming in for the Muskies is Ricky Wilson coming in for Heisey. DeOrio comes back in for Ohio Northern. He comes in for Thress. Some of the Polar Bears celebrating like they've already got the game won. Second free throw is good from Allen. Back out to a 6-point game, 85-79. Still plenty of time left though, 52.5 seconds remaining. Marsh is going to take the ball for the Muskies. He's got it one-on-one on Bruns. Gets into the lane. Shot altered by Bruns. No foul on the play, and Bruns gets the rebound. Muskie fans can't believe they didn't get the foul call on that. Coach Schwab is furious with the officials after that one. He's close to getting teed up as Dempsey's committing the foul for the Muskies to send DeOrio to the free throw line.
Yeah, I don't know how that wasn't a foul. I mean, there's just too much contact, and even when they were getting the rebound, they were pushing Keys around. I don't know how you don't call anything for that.
Inconsistent play by the officials today has really been the Achilles heel for the Muskies at certain times, as the first free throw from DeOrio is good. Gets it out to a 7-point deficit for the Muskies, 86-79. Second shot from DeOrio is also good, an 8-point game, 79-87 in favor of the Polar Bears. Dempsey's going to take the ball for the Muskies. Heat check 3, and he doesn't get that one to go, but we'll see a foul on the play, and that will send Dempsey to the line for 3 free throws after drawing the foul on that one.
And he's got to make all 3 of them here if they want to have any chance. He has got to nail them, and then they got to foul and hope for some misses.
36.8 seconds remaining. Muskies down by 8. Dempsey trying to make it a 5-point game with these 3 shots. First attempt is good, 87-80, 7-point deficit. No subs coming in for either side. Dempsey getting set, and the gym is basically silent. Second shot is also good, a 6-point game. And now before the final free throw, Coach Schwab is going to take a timeout to draw things up defensively. So while they take a break, we'll take another one right with them. And we'll be right back here on the Orbit Media Sports Network. Muskies down 87-81, 36.8 seconds remaining.
Sweet chocolate-covered marshmallows. Smooth, delicious pretzels. Divine chocolate treats of all kinds, all handcrafted and available right here in historic Cambridge. Unleash your inner chocoholic with nothing but chocolate. Located on 731 Wheeling Avenue in Cambridge, Ohio.
Authority in East
87-81 over to the Ohio Northern Polar Bears here inside the NC Steel Center on the campus of Muskingum University. 36.8 seconds remaining as the Muskies trying to draw up a play out of the timeout, and The fans getting to laugh at the officials a little bit as one of them tripped over the ball after he was walking backwards. Marcus Dempsey still has one more free throw attempt coming out of his 3 shots. The Muskies wanted to draw up a couple of plays defensively and offensively, down by 6 points, with Dempsey hoping to make it a 5-point game with this free throw. Dempsey getting set. The shot is up, and it is good. So Dempsey makes 3 out of 3 field goals on the free throws, Now full court press for the Fighting Muskies. Ball tipped out of bounds on the inbound by Jarrell Marsh. Coach Schwab wanted the 5-second violation called, but he's not going to get anything here. So the Muskies full court press coming into play early in this possession. Clock never started, so that's good for the Fighting Muskies. Coach Schwab directing his players from the bench. Inbound is completed to Allen, and he's going to try to get through the full court press here. Muskies drawing the foul there, and Keys came up with the ball before the foul was... No, excuse me, they're going to call a timeout from the Ohio Northern bench. Coach Schwab thought that Keys got the ball ripped out before the timeout was called, so the ball will stay with Ohio Northern with 32.6 seconds remaining. That could be a call that ends up really affecting the ending of this game.
Yeah, and the good thing, though, about it is the Muskies are definitely showing a lot of pressure, and they're obviously making the Polar Bears feel pressured, or otherwise they wouldn't call that timeout. So it's good that the Polar Bears are feeling pressured, which means they might be able to come up with a big steal here.
They might be able to. The full court press has definitely been giving Ohio Northern problems through this possession. They've only been able to get the 1 inbound off after Marsh tipped the 1 out of bounds. So this is going to have to continue for the Fighting Muskies defensively. They got to try to do everything they can to get to that inbound. With only 1 timeout left, though, they're going to have to play run and gun offensively if they can't get that inbound taken away and go back all the way to the other end for Ohio Northern. The good thing for the Polar Bears, they still have 3 timeouts available. So Coach Bensman has plenty of timeouts left with 30 seconds remaining. This is going to have to be a perfect ending for the Muskies if they're going to come back and get this win in dramatic fashion. They're only down 5 points right now, 87-82. Looking to get this ball off the inbound. Marsh is going to commit the foul immediately after the inbound is completed, so it will send the Polar Bears to the line for 2 free throws off of the Muskies' 12th team foul on the afternoon.
And this whole game's just kind of been frustrating for the Muskies because they just haven't been able to come back. I mean, they've been hanging around. They just have not been able to get those points that they need to get.
Allen at the free throw line for Ohio Northern. First attempt is good. Gets it back to a 6-point game, 86-82. Still a 2-possession ball game with 31.7 seconds remaining. Second attempt is also good. Now a 7-point game, 89-82. Inbound goes to Jalen Page for the Muskies. 30 seconds remaining, and the Muskies will have to score quick. Page spots up for 3, and he gets that one to go. Back to 4-point game right now, 89-85. Muskies back to the full court press. Marsh committing the foul early. That's going to be the 5th personal foul on Jarrell Marsh. So he will foul out of the ball game, I believe. Yes, he does in fact foul out, so that will do it for Jarrell Marsh. He exits with 29 points on the evening as Devon Pert will check in for him.
The Muskies just got to hope for misses here. I mean, Jalen maybe should have been shooting more the whole game. I mean, that was a great shot.
First attempt from Allen misses, so that's a good sign for the Muskies, keeping it at a 4-point game with 25.5 seconds remaining. Second attempt from Allen also misses, still a 4-point game. Devin Allen keeping the Muskies in it with those 2 misses. Dempsey for a long 3, no good. Rebound taken in by Keys. Keys goes right back up, not good on the shooter's roll, and the ball taken in by DeOrio with 13.1 left, and he will be fouled, sending him to the free throw line, and the Muskies trailing by 4 points.
Oh, wow, I don't even know what to say about that. That was not a bad shot by Dempsey, just didn't come in, and then that that shot by Keys just so close to rolling in, and it just didn't happen. So now the Muskies got to hope for more misses by a guy that hasn't missed all day.
DeOrio back to the free throw line, makes the first attempt, back to a 5-point game, 90-85. 13.1 seconds remaining as DeOrio gets set for his second attempt. Second attempt is also good. Now a 6-point game once again, 91-85. They're going to force Page to pick the ball up early. He gets down, and he's going to kick it out to Pert. Pert's got to do something with it as Page spots up for another three, is blocked. Ball goes out of bounds after Brunn's got a hand on it. 4.8 remaining. The Muskies just taking too much time to try to get an open shot. And now Page will have to inbound, gets it right into Pert. Pert spots up. Off the rim, no good. Rebound taken in and kicked out of bounds, but that is not enough time to do anything with it as the Muskies will fall to Ohio Northern, 91-85. A 6-point loss for the Muskies here at home, and they will fall to 10-5 on the season, breaking a 2-game winning streak for the Fighting Muskies with this loss here today. A brilliant game being played by Ohio Northern. They did everything that they had to do to get something going on the other end for the Polar Bears, and we'll just have to see what the Fighting Muskies can do next time out after they come away with a loss here today.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a very frustrating game to watch. I mean, it's just they were so close so many times, and they just were not able to ever get it tied back up after the Polar Bears went up. They never came back down.
So let's go live now to our sideline reporter, Logan Weaver, who is live with the top scorer today, Jarrell Marsh.
Guys, I'm here with Jarrell Marsh. Jarrell, 29 points on the day, but obviously not the result you guys wanted. What can you guys do to improve for your next game?
We just going to work harder in practice and get ready for the next game.
Okay, thank you. And we also have Coach Schwab here. Coach? Coach, obviously not the result you guys wanted. It was a close game all day. What can you do to prepare for the next game?
We just need to get back to work. I mean, there's no magic formula in college basketball. It's about working hard each and every day. We did some good things today. We got a lot of things to improve upon, and that's what practice is for.
Good work today, Coach. Thanks. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Logan. And with that, we will take a short break and send it back to the studio before we come back with your full post-game report here on the Orbit Media Sports Network.
Your one-stop shop for all things computer-related is ABC Technical Services. Whether it's designing a new website, website maintenance, PC repair, or over-the-phone tech support, ABC Technical Services has you covered. ABC Technical Services can set up a new network, install the latest antivirus software, and they even offer full video production and editing services too. Give them a call at 740-432-5605 or visit them online at abctechnicalservices.com. A name you know, a name you trust. ABC Technical Services.
Look at all these televisions. Is this heaven? Have we all died and gone to the sports afterlife? No, but this place is no less holy. A miracle of flat screens and premium sports packages, all in the service of a sports fan's basest desires. So while this isn't the heaven, it is a heaven. And this one serves beer, which is a nice twist.
Buffalo Wild Wings, located in Zanesville and Cambridge.
On the campus of Muskingum University, where the Fighting Muskies fall to the Ohio Northern Polar Bears in an OAC men's basketball duel here on the campus of Muskingum University. I'm Chris Morgan, joined by Michael Pagano up here in the broadcast booth with your full post-game report. And Michael, when you really look at this game today, it was a game of runs throughout the entirety of it, but just too little too late for the Muskies with the comeback effort late.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. I mean, they were down by about 13, I think was the biggest lead for the Polar Bears, and they started to come back. They started chip away, but they just couldn't chip away enough. They never, ever tied the game back up. They never got to within, I don't think, even 3 points. I think it was 5 points was the closest they ever got, 4 points probably. They just were not able to come back after Ohio Northern went up in the first half, and it's just frustrating for a coach to see them come so close on so many plays. So many baskets almost went in, a couple officiating calls didn't go their way. It's just a frustrating game for a fan and a frustrating game for a coach and just a frustrating all-around game for the Muskies today, but they did play pretty well through all out.
They definitely did play pretty well. They made the adjustments that they needed to make at the halftime break, started playing better defensively, started getting some better looks on the offensive end. They just couldn't get the shots to really fall late in the game. And the other thing that really hurt them was when they went to the free throw line, the majority of the time they were only making one of the two shots. So that's something that they're going to have to improve upon before going back into the game action on Wednesday. They're going to have to work on free throw shooting, making sure that they're in the right positions to get the wins like these that they could have used today to propel themselves back up into the upper echelon of the OAC.
Yeah, and I really think what they need to work on at practice is obviously free throw shooting and then also playing that defense they played at the end of the game. Do that for 40 minutes. I mean, yeah, you might be exhausted by the end of the game, but you're going to be exhausted anyway, so just go all out the whole entire game for defense, and because obviously it worked. I mean, at the beginning they couldn't stop them at all, but at the end they were stopping them almost every time down the court, so just keep doing that. Whatever they were doing, it was working.
And on the offensive side for the Muskies, a big-time day for Jarrell Marsh once again. Finished the game with a game-high 29 points. Marcus Dempsey had a decent day himself. He had 17, almost got back to that 20-point threshold on the night, but they just needed a little bit more from the bench. Devon Pert didn't really do anything points-wise for scoring off of the bench. Ricky Wilson wasn't able to get himself going today. Josh Keys had a pretty nice day offensively, had 16 points on the night, but it just didn't translate into the key buckets that the Muskies could have used late in the game.
Yeah, I mean, they had their chance. They had the chance to bring it to 3 or 2 at the end there when the Polar Bears missed their 2 free throws and the 3 didn't go in, and then the shot by Keys just barely rimmed out, and it was just frustrating.
And on the other side for the Polar Bears, they were led offensively by Bruns. He had more than 20 points in the contest. He's the player of the game in my mind, regardless of what Jarrell Marsh would have done offensively for the Muskies. I just can't in solid mind give the player of the game to a player from the losing squad, but Bruns had a really good day for the Polar Bears. He was really taking advantage of the size difference between him and Josh Keys on the low block, getting those putback opportunities late. His lengthy arms really give him a foothold over a lot of people in the OAC. Josh Keys is obviously a very good rebounder and a very good player for the Muskies, has a lot of length in his own right, but Bruns, his wingspan is easily more than 7 feet because he is just able to get those arms out there and just snatch up rebounds no matter what he has to do to get them.
Yeah, and a perfect example is the end of the game. I think it was when the Muskies were down by about 5. He just reached out with one arm and just grabbed down that rebound, and that basically sealed the deal for the Polar Bears.
So with that, we're going to go ahead and send it back to the studio for another break. But when we come back, we'll take a look ahead for the Muskies and what their next game is going to entail, as well as our final goodbyes for the evening.
Visit us at the Crumb and Cup behind the John and Annie Glenn Museum to warm up with a cup of soup and a hot drink, or grab a sandwich and some dessert. Stop in the Crumb and Cup Alley Cafe, where we take pride in making your day.
The Forum, we're that kind of restaurant.
Want to celebrate after your team's unbelievable victory? We're that kind of restaurant. Hungry after a late night of studying? How about a late night drive-thru? We're that kind of restaurant. Need a place to wind down after a long day? How about a full-service bar? We're that kind of restaurant. With great prices, great food, and a great environment, we're that kind of restaurant.
The Forum Restaurant, because life was meant to be enjoyed.
Sweet chocolate-covered marshmallows. Smooth, delicious pretzels. Divine chocolate treats of all kinds, all handcrafted and available right here in historic Cambridge. Unleash your inner chocoholic with nothing but chocolate. Located on 731 Wheeling Avenue in Cambridge, Ohio.
Welcome back to the ANC Steel Center here on the campus of Muskingum University, where the Fighting Muskie men's basketball team falls to Ohio Northern 91-85 in an OAC men's basketball contest. Once again, I'm Chris Morgan alongside Michael Pagano up here in the broadcast booth with your post-game report. And Michael, with the last few minutes that we've got, let's go ahead and check in with what the Muskies are going to have coming forward. They fall to 10-5 overall with the loss, 4-4 in the OAC, but they have a big chance to get another key win on the road on Wednesday when they go over to Alliance for a date with Mount Union.
Yeah, and the guy they're going to have to worry about for Mount Union is J.J. Kakura. I believe he is averaging close to the top of the OAC. I'm pretty sure he's in the top 5 in scoring, and I'm pretty sure was a big factor for the Mount Union last year in the win over the Muskies at their place. And obviously the Muskies had a thriller and were able to beat them last year here, but he is definitely one of the better players for Mount Union. He's going to be a guy they're going to have to defend very well. But the Muskies obviously have their trio of guys that the Purple Raiders are going to have to worry about themselves, and I think could make for another classic game like today's.
That's what the Muskies are going to hope for as they go over to Mount Union on Wednesday. But Coach Schwab and the Muskies still have a little bit of work to do before they get to that point, have some practice time ahead of them, and they'll be able to hopefully get things back on the right road as they go on the road for a date with the Purple Raiders on Wednesday. Orbit Media Sports Productions at Muskingum University are made possible in part thanks to contributions from the Office of Academic Affairs, the Arts and Humanities Division, the Theater Department, Digital Media Design Program, and our theme music for today's presentation on Orbit TV Channel 9 was composed by David Curley. Once again, the Muskies fall to Ohio Northern 91-85, going on the road next to Mount Union on Wednesday. You can catch the next live Muskie Sports broadcast by the Orbit Media Sports Department on Wednesday when women's basketball hosts Mount Union here in the ANC Steel Center. For the final time tonight, for Logan Weaver, Michael Pagano, I'm Chris Morgan. Have a great night, New Concord.